Hello everyone, my name is Karim Abou Shousha. I'm senior lighting artist at Ubisoft, and in this video I'm gonna uncover to show you how you can create cinematic lighting for the interior scenes, and you gonna understand how you can use it for the cinematic and movie. So the same principle we are using in both side, but there is some tips and tricks I'm gonna try to show you everything here. Okay, as you can see here, we have this nice lighting and this other kind type of lighting. I will try to explain everything and how we can start your lighting in your scene, even if you just receive your scene like this has no light. Okay, so before we start, you have to understand what you have to do as a lighter before to add any light in your scene. Okay, so if we open this, there is very big thing you have to decide it first. It should be decided with discuss this with your art director, because it should be has some art director. The first thing I'm always think about it's what the color harmony I'm gonna go for. Color harmony, it's one of the strongest things that you can telling the story by using your light, your color in your scene. And if you understand how you can use the color harmony, your image is gonna talk something like you don't need to do anything in your scene, even if it's still image, but your image they're gonna have the emotional, you're gonna have the story. So even the audience, they're gonna see your art, they're gonna feel what kind of emotional here in this scene. Okay, so in my scene here, I decided to go with square. Okay, which is I'm gonna use for colors, but be aware this all color has different things. Something like hue saturation or the contrast or the level of colors itself. Okay, so that's mean you don't need to use the solid color. So if I am gonna use red, I can start to use a very saturated red or low saturated red. It's the same thing in yellow or green. Okay, so as you can see here, I have some nice color in the environment itself. Okay, so here I have red, some green, some green from the vegetation, or even here in the fruits. Okay, so also I have some nice gold. So which is me now I have this or three color in my environment, which is I'm gonna add something more. It's blue color to add more color harmony in my scene. Okay, that's mean your environment and the color environment, it's reflected to the light. Okay, so it's all connected together. Okay, so as you lighter, the first step you have to start to think about the base color or the base light. Normally you can receive your scene has very base color like HDRI light, or has no light. Okay, so it depends. Sometimes if you are working the games has some setup like the sky, and it has some very basic light, or maybe you can receive your scene without no light. Okay, so if you remember the same principle we are used in the exterior scene, I'm gonna use it here also. I will start with the base color, okay, or the global illumination light. So I'm gonna use HDRI. Okay, so let's push this down and scale the size more. Okay, here we can use intensity 50, and the skylight I'm gonna switch to specific cube map. Okay, and from here we can start to look for one HDRI. So I'm gonna try to make the night mode. Okay, so we can go back here and just make sure that we are using the same one. Okay, perfect. So let's go back here and we'll put this here and also this there. Okay, from here I will add 1500, and as you can see here everything is out of exposure. So the first thing, I'm gonna add the post processing to correct my exposure value. Okay, so if you can see something like this, it could be happen because the plume. So open the plume and make the intensity 0. Okay, so now I'm sure the plume is not effect. Okay, so now we can go with auto exposure. I will open the auto exposure and min and max. So let's add a value as 10. Okay, and from here I will uh, make sure that you select infinity. Okay, so yeah, if we go back here to the bloom, and you see the bloom has too much light, so with the bloom just make sure you put the value now 0. Okay, because the plume post processing, this is the last step. Okay, and if you look at here, so we have the base color, then we're gonna add the main key light in the scene, then add the light props and fake light, and in the end the post processor and fx, like the fog or any other fx things in the scene. Okay, so once we have this here, so we have our scene is too dark. So if you remember, we're gonna try to check the local exposure. Okay, and mid gray. So let's put this at 1 and this 0.5. Okay, let's find this one and just put them in one group. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off and turn this on again. So as you can see here, we have this nice light, but the skylight, it's too exposure now. So I will try to change the intensity, maybe 20. Okay, so now we put the base light, okay, which is this one. Okay, so the light here, it looks like very saturated. So what I can do is not a post processing, but yes, we can say it's part of post processing. But I will go to the saturation, and we can make the value something between 0.8 to just have the real color or some low saturation. Okay, now I can keep working on my lighting. Okay, so let's try to make maybe this 10 because I don't need to have too much light outside. Okay, so now we have the basic light. Okay, so the second part, I'm gonna try to add the direction light, or it depend what kind of main light you're gonna use. So you're gonna use the main key light comes from the moon, for example. Is this shot at night, or you just need some moonlight like the visual ambits and add light props. Okay, so in my case, I'm gonna add the direction light. I would love to add direction light and make the intensity now 1000. Okay. I will try first to put my light in the good direction. So, as in good direction, I will try to have some fill light and rim light from the main key light. Also, because we have the sunset time, I will try to make the light more softer, the shadow. So we can go with 10. Okay, something like this. It looks good for me. Okay, and now we can change the intensity, uh, maybe 400. I think 400 it's good. Okay, and from the light, we can add maybe some nice color like this. Okay, so now I will try to move the sign direction more here to have this tint blue. Okay, now we set up the main light and the global illumination light. But as you can see here in behind, the directional light has some issue, but normally it comes uh, from the walls, so it's not that issue. That's fine. Okay, we can keep it for now. Okay, so now we have this basic light. Okay, I I love this mood. So this mood has, at least we can see the blue tint here. So it's gonna matching with the direction light. So let's add the direction light here and maybe just go more with blue. Okay, so here we finished the easiest part. For me, this is the very basics. So the hardest part now, it's how you can light the scene correctly and how you can light each groups here if you have, for example, 5 people in the scene or even more. So in this case, you have to think about how they light the scene in the movie. So if you search in Google and see the light setup, you will see they put some fake light to fake the light. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna try to add more fake light. It comes on the character, okay, which is gonna reflect or gonna give you feeling this lights comes from the one key light. Okay, like what I did here. If you look at this image, you see all of this light. It's just to fake the light and to light the characters, to make them lit. Okay, and each character has to add something in cinematic, at least two type of lighting. Something is called rim light and fill light. Okay, the rim light to make the character separate from the background, which is I need to have this light. As you can see here, if we turn this off, you you can't really see any depth of in your image. But to add some rim light, now we have some highlight on each character, which is you can really see the difference between the background and the characters. So the rim light we are using to make the character separate from the background. Okay, and the fill light to add some light in the dark area. So if you have this area is dark, you can add one fake light to make the light more visible. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, and now I'm gonna start to add the fake light, but it depends. So the first thing I'm gonna ask about, what kind of light props I'm gonna use. So you have to analyze your scene and discuss. The first thing, I have the light comes from the sky, which is okay. I am gonna add some fake light, but also we have some big fire torches here, okay, or I don't know what is this called, but this fire. Okay, we can remove this and just add this one. Okay, so I can start with this thing, so I can add light here and change the temperature to make it more yellowish. Okay, and I'm gonna try to make the shadow. Okay, so now we can change the radius, and let's try to go something more intensity. Okay, and if we go back to our camera, now we light the first part here, which is I have very big light props. Okay, the second part, okay, so I'm gonna start to think about these two character, what the light it's gonna come from, how we can add the light for them. So maybe it could be add some light props come from the lantern. So you can add lantern, for example, here, and from that you can start to add the light to fake the light intensity. Okay, and it doesn't really need to put them inside because you're gonna have this weird shadow, so you can put them outside here. Okay, and for sure you can change the the radius for your lights. Okay, so once you have this here, okay, so now I'm gonna add more light props, so you can add one here, and let's go back to my camera. So I have one here, so but the light here, it looks too big, so I would prefer to change the scale, maybe 0.7. Okay, so let's try to put this here, and if we move this one, okay, so let's go back here. So now we have these two light props, so it could be the light comes from here, but in the first is that I made it, I put the light comes from the lantern, for example. It could be comes from the lantern, so or sorry, candle, so I can add the candles here, and then we're gonna add the light prop there. Okay, so it depends, so I don't need to have too much light because I have here strong light, so I will remove them. I don't need them, and I can just focus to have the light comes from the sky and maybe from the candles. Okay, so we'll add the light here. Okay, and make them sharp and change the scale, and from here I can change the temperature to have something like this. Okay, so now if we go back to the camera, the light is too strong for me, so we can go with 8. Okay, so 8. Now we can really see the light, their face you see here before and after. Now we light them and add the key light. Okay, so also in this area we can add one big light to have the light comes also from the lanterns. We can add some sorry, candles on the bottom here. Okay, so we can change the radius and make it more white. Okay, so we are trying now to add the main key light. Okay, so I'm just trying to add the main key light to have the balance, and then we're gonna add more light, and we'll see, you will see the difference between the key light and to add some more fake light. Okay, if you look at outside here, the light, it looks too strong, but it's okay. It's not a big deal, but we can try to make the intensity. Mm, it's okay. I think the value is not bad. Yeah, I think 1000, it's a good value. Okay. Now, if you look at your scene now, we have too much orange. So the light here is orange, the light here is orange, the light here is orange. So we need to break this light by using some fake light to add more rim light on the characters. So in this case, I'm gonna add another light. So you can use the point light, or sometimes I would prefer to use spotlight. Okay, so let's start first with this one. I will add the light near to the characters here. Okay, and let's change The radius. Okay, so oops, if we go here, so just take a look the difference between this and this. So here you can see the difference between the character and the background, but by adding some fake light, now we can start to see some nice sharp or rim lights on the characters. Okay, and the same thing I'm gonna start using in everywhere here. So I have this character. We can add another light because we need some light comes from the sky. So now we light the character. You see the difference between this and this one. Now we have very nice lighting. Okay, we can add also one on behind. If you want, but I don't like that, so we can just keep it like this. Okay. I'm gonna take another one, and from here we can add to fake the light comes from behind here. So there is some case you will see the lights on on the ground here. So to fake this, we have very nice options. So there is something is called channel. Okay, so we can just turn off this one and add channel 1. And from the character itself, you have to keep the channel 0 to affect the main color and also to add channel 1. Okay, now this light it's gonna only affect on any character has channel 1. Okay, now we don't have this weird lights, so we just light the characters. Okay. We can take another one. For sure, if you are working in games, you can put one large light. It's gonna be enough for both of them because we have a light limitation. Okay, you see here we have this very nice lights. We can also try to put one here because now we are working in cinematic. Okay, so I don't care about the lights. So we can add some also nice lighting here to just have this nice light. Okay, one more here to add more contrast there, but I will turn off this one. Okay, so now we have this some nice fake lights, but still in this character we I would prefer to add one more spotlight on his face to fake the lights comes from the candles. Okay, or to put more attention on her face, on his face. Okay, so let's try to put the light like this. So you see, boom, boom. Now the light looks more nicer for me. Okay. Also, we can add one light for the character. It's outside. She's walking outside now, and let's add one here. You just add some nice contrast on her face also. You see the difference between this one and this one. Okay, but if you don't want to put the attention, we can remove the light, but it's okay for me. I would love to keep the lights. Okay, now everything for me, it looks very nice, except maybe some area here has some dark shadow, so I can add the lights, one here. Okay, and maybe just to add a little bit of light, you see, boom boom, or even you can keep it like this. Okay, now we have also the character in the back, so I will try to add also some lights, but here he has already some blue color, so I can take one of the yellow and add it here. So if we go back here, check, you see the difference now. We have this nice light also blending. Okay, so now we set up the main light in the scene overall. Okay, so we have some nice contrast between each element. We can really see the difference between each element. Okay, uh, where the spotlight, yes, we're gonna put them in one group. Okay, so just take a look the difference between this one and this one. So it's big difference. So now we light the background, we and also we light the characters. Okay, so now we have this very nice light blending. Uh, Before I worked on the post processing, I would add the fog. Okay, because the fog it's also very important for me. Okay, so the fog element we can add some maybe some nice fog like this. Okay, to just have this tinted blue. Okay, now we can start to go with the post processing. So I would love to add the bloom light. Okay, to have some nice blending between the background and the elements. Okay, and in local exposure we can add in details maybe 1.2 to have more contrast. Okay, and in post processing here I'm gonna start to play with the color and the mood. So do I need to go more with yellow or blue, or even keep it orange? So you see just some nice effect. We can also change the gamma to bring more light to the scene. You see, it's very simple. It doesn't take that much time, but as I told you, the hardest part is to analyze the scene. For me, I sometimes I don't want to have too much contrast in the scene, so I will try to keep it the light raw. Okay. Also, I would love to play with the mid-tone in the gain and gamma. So the mid-tone, it can change the mood completely. So now you can get this different mood, you see, by just using the gain. The gain, we gonna change the mood completely. Okay, so now I can get more night mood, and also we can get more contrast. So here, because I need to have some nice blending between the uh, purple and it comes from the sky, and also the blue. Okay, you see now we have this natural feeling like that comes from the sky. The background, it's, you see this area, it was too bright, so I can move the camera a little bit here. Now we have this nice matching color in every way. Now I have to also, you can back to check the light. Sometimes you, I can feel the light, it's too contrast, has too much light. So for example, this one, you see here was too has two contrast. Now the contrast, the contrast balance between the indirect lights comes from the moon and on the character. Now it makes sense more for me. Also here we can make the light more close to the character to have more intensity. Okay, and you know what, maybe this character we can add one light in behind here to have this nice rim light. So just, you see, it's very small. I can't see that much difference, but it's okay. We can remove it for now. Okay. So now we have this nice balance between each element. If you don't need to focus on the character in behind, you can keep it like this. If you want to focus more, you can add one lights to add more light there. You see here. But I just need to focus on the main key element, and I want to eye catching just goes to the characters. Okay, so it just take I think it's max 5 minutes or 10 minutes to light the scene. But again, the main reason here, or the main idea for how you can analyze your scene and how you can start. So to just make you that you understand everything. So the first part you have to do, it's the base color. Okay, and then you have to add the key light, which is gonna be the main big light source. Then to add the light props, which is could be candles, lanterns, or anything to light the background. After that, you can add the fake light to have some nice cinematic lighting. And the fake light should be has at least two things: the fill light and the rim light, or you can add the key light and rim light. Okay, but in the cinematic we are using three things: the key light and fill light and rim light. Okay, so now we have everything light very nicely. We have nice blending. uh, I didn't do that m- big change in the post processing, because as I told you, if you understand how you use the light and the color harmony, you don't really need to add too much thing in your post processing. You see, now we can change the moods. I love the mid tone so much because I can change the mood completely by using only to use this wheel. Okay, so now we have this nice lighting. You can start to use different time of day. Oops, we have too much light. So you see here is this different light mood. So from post processing here, I can change the mood. Maybe I can go something more yellowish. Okay, but it's up to you. So you can create any type of lighting. Okay, day or night, or you can mix it. So it's very simple. Okay, yes. You see here the difference between the lights. So what we did here, so let's try to go back here. So we add the main key lights, we add the fake lights, and in the end the VFX like the fog. So now we have very nice image. It's ready to animate it and just start to export. So now you can add your camera to take the shots. We have nice blending, we have nice color harmony. It's like the Arabian. You can start to check the other sky. So you see maybe this one, I love this one, maybe more. You can put the sky, the main key lights comes from the sky in this direction, for example. Okay, or I can just keep it like this. Uh, you can do whatever you want now, and your scene is ready. So it was very simple. I don't want to go with something more technical, but believe me, the same principle I am using in anything in cinematic or even in the on the games. But in the games, we have a limitation, so you can't use all of this light. So this group should has maybe max two lights or three lights, maybe the main key light, and you can add two big fill light or rim lights in the scene. Also, this group can add maybe two lights. So there is some limitation, but I will not go. I will not speak about the optimization in the lighting, but try to use this. Try to get any indoor scenes and start to use the same idea here. And yeah, there is nothing much more. So you see now, now it's too bright, but I would prefer to keep it in this value. So that's pretty much. I wish you like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel, and for sure you can add some. You can give me some donation on my YouTube. Subscribe my YouTube channel and like and leave your comments. And yeah, see you next video. Thanks again and good luck.